Welcome back. In this video, we will develop this web application which is named Motivational Quotes app. In this application, we will fetch motivational quotes from the API named type.feed/API/quotes. As you can see, there are lots of motivational quotes in this API, and we will fetch these quotes using a fetch method of JavaScript and show it in the form of this nice looking cards. So let's start. But before that, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And for finding out the code for this project, you can go to my GitHub repository. So here is the GitHub, and click on repositories. Under that, you can find one project name, motivational quotes app. Not project, a repository name, motivational quotes app. And here on the master branch, I have like uploaded all the code of this project. So let's start. First of all, let's create a folder for this project, which is a motivational quotes app. As you can see, I have already created one project, and under that we will create three files for HTML code, JavaScript, and our styling. So the first is index.html for storing the HTML code, script.js for writing the code to fetch the motivational quotes via API, and the third one is styles.css for styling the cards. So let's start with our development. So first of all, let's create the base boilerplate HTML code. For that, uh, type exclamatory mark and you will see emit abbreviation and click on enter. You will get all the code generated. Now here I have already installed one plugin called live server. Click on that, so it will automatically open the code for the output of this HTML code. So let me write something here, so you can see whenever I write and save the code, the changes will be automatically displayed in the browser. So let me write uh, hello world, hello world, and save it. And as you can see, the changes are automatically getting reflected. Now let's start with developing this application. For that, first of all, I will give some name to the application. As you can see in the title, it is showing document, but in this application I want to show it as uh, motivational quotes app. So I will replace the title tag motivational quotes app and save. And as you can see, if I go to the Chrome browser, and the name of the web page is been changed. Now let's also link our style sheets. For that, we will use the link tag. Under that, we will relate it to uh, style sheet, and after that we will give the source where it is being stored in our folder. So as you can see, it is already in the base folder, so we doesn't need to give any relative path. After that, as you can see, I have linked the style sheet. Let's just make some styling and see if it is correctly linked or not to our web. So I am using one h1 tag here, and will apply some styling on this h1 tag. So h1 color, okay, text color, which is a blue, and save it. And as we go to here, our you can confirm that our style sheet is also built into HTML file, and we are seeing the changes on that. Changes are being reflected on our code. Now let's go to, let's remove it because we don't require it, and also let's remove the h1 tag. Also let's link our script JavaScript to this HTML code. So source equal to then name of the file script.js, and then close the. And if you need to confirm it is working or not, then just type console.log into here. Let's write hello world. If it is correctly linked, then we will see this hello world in our console. So as you can see, there is nothing visible. So how to open the console log? For that, you can press Ctrl Shift and I. After pressing it, you can see we are on the console and hello world is being displayed here, which means our JavaScript file is also getting linked with our HTML file. Now let's start with actual development of this web application. So first of all, we have to consume the content of this API and bring it into our JavaScript, and then we will show it into our HTML code, HTML file using DOM manipulation, document object manipulation. Uh, so let me go to script.js. We don't require it, so I will remove it. For that, we will for link fetching the output of this API, we will use the fetch API, which is a built-in JavaScript interface that allows you to make HTTP requests to fetch resources such as JSON from a server. So let's start with it. For that, we will write fetch. Here we will give the link to the API, which is let me bring the API link here. This is the link, so we will give that link, and also let me just increase the font size so it will be good for you. And let me do one more thing. Just I want to show both the things on one screen, so here we are doing that. And let me also bring it this screen. How to do now? It will be okay. I think code and both are visible side by side. Let me just decrease the font size so it will be visible, and also close this. Now we are on our uh, let's write the code. After that, then here under that, let me just write the code and then I will explain what we are doing. So response dot json, after that then data. I need to write equal to here, and then let's print it whatever we are getting from this fetch request. So let's print data and save it. As you can see, we are seeing lot of records here, the JSON format, and under that you can see we are getting the author and the text. Text is the motivational code, and the person, the name of the author who has given this motivational code. As you can see, genius is 1% inspiration, 99% there is something written. Let me just confirm it from here. If I go to the top, we will see this motivational code. So we are getting the motivational code using this API into our JavaScript. Now let me explain how it is working. So in this example, we use the fetch. Let me open it. We use the fetch function to send a get request to the specified URL. We are using this fetch function to send a get request to this URL from which we want to bring the JSON. The fetch function returns a promise that resolves to the response. So the fetch function always returns a promise, and which resolves to a response from the server. We change the then method to the promise to handle the response. In this case, we use the JSON method. As you can see, we are using the JSON method to parse the response body as JSON. The resulting data is then available in the second then callback function. So what we are doing it here, we are using the fetch method and passing the URL of our API, and the fetch method always returns a promise which get results into response, and we are using the then method to convert the response into JSON format, and then we are using another then method to get the data. So in this then method we are getting the data, and after that we are printing it here. As you can see on the screen, Now let's try to uh, loop through all the data and print the name of author and the text one by one. Let me just comment this as it is not required now. So data dot we will use for each method, data dot for each, and under that we will give item, and I always type plus instead of equal to. Here let's try to print console.log item dot uh, text. As you can see, we are getting the text here and the author. So I am printing the item dot text. After that, let me just also print in the next line the author dot author. As you can see, now we are only seeing, we are not seeing the JSON because we have commented the line number 4, and we are seeing on only the text and the author. So if you can see here, it is the text and the author, text and the author, text and the author of that motivational quote. Now let's go to our index.html and create a div here so we can try to show them in our UI. So I will create a div and give a class here. The class will be data container because it will contain the data, and also we will give some ID to it, which is card container. And in this div we will show our uh, motivational quotes in the form of card. So let's go to script.js and let's first of all uh, get that div into our JavaScript. For that, what we will do is we will create a const and name it as data container equals to document dot get element by id, and we will pass the id which we are giving it there. So what is the id? We are using card container, so we will use that id here. So now we have access to that particular HTML block, which is that div. Now let's also comment this out because we don't need to show them on the screen. Let's try to show them on our HTML code. Let me also close this inspector. So I have closed it using Control Shift I. Now, first of all, I will create a const card and document dot create element. I'm creating one element and it is a div. So we have created a div. Now card dot class list dot add. Here we are adding a class on this div which is card. So we have added one class to this element which we have created using JavaScript. Now we will again create one more element, const name element. So again we will use document dot create element, and here we will use our h2 tag to create one, and here also we will. Now let's set the content of this element. So name element dot, we will set the text content equals to which we are getting from our JSON. So we are getting the text into item.text. So I will use item.text. Now we will append inside card. So we have created a card div here, and on that card we want to show the motivational code. So we are appending this name element into that. So card dot append child and the name of the child, which is name element. Now we are done with this. Also if I go to that API, Here in some of them you will not get the author. As you can see here in some of them we are not getting the author. So let's do one thing. Let's check for the author. If we are not getting the value of author, then we will not show that motivational quote on our screen. So let me do that. So here, yes, on the top, if item dot author is not equal to null, then only we will show them, and we will paste this code inside this if. So only the motivational quote which have some author, we will print them on our card. So now const, let's create one more element, and we will create it using p tag, and I am calling it as const author element equals to document dot create element, and here it will be using p tag. So we have done that. Now let's set the content of that. So author element dot text content equals to item dot author, and you will not see any changes on the screen because we haven't added the card on our data container. That's why we haven't appended the card in our data container. That's why we are not seeing it on screen, but we will see it in some time. So now also add this card dot append child, and let's add our author element also. And after doing that, and as you can see, we are also showing the tweet this link here. Let me code the UI. So we are printing the author, the motivational code, and a link to tweet this. So when I click on this tweet this link, Twitter will open and we will get the content of the tweet loaded. We just need to click on tweet. So let's implement that functionality later. So first of all, let's just show this on UI, and then we will implement the link functionality later. So let me just go to the code and bring the UI also. So we are done with this. Now after that, on data container, we will append child, and we will name the name of the child is card. And the moment I save it, we will see something on the screen. Let's see. As you are getting the output on the screen. So what we have done here, first of all, we are getting the access to that particular div which is having an id of card container. On the line number 1 we are doing that. On the second line we are using the fetch method and giving the url of the api, and this fetch method will always returns a promise which gets resolves into a response, and we are using .json to convert the response into json structure. And on the second, then we are getting the actual data. After that we are looping through the data, and we are checking if the author of that motivational quote is null, then we will not print it on the screen. And on the line number 10 we are creating a card, so the card will be visible in some time when we will implement some styling here. So we are created a card and added that card and given a class to that card here. After that we have created two element. One is name element and the second is author. On the name element we are using h2 tag. As you can see, it is h2. And on the author element we are using the p tag, which is paragraph, and we are appending both of them to the card. And after that we are appending the card into our the parent element, which is data container. So it is visible. Now let's go to styling and style this css. So first of all, data data container, we will show it as flex, and let's save it so the changes will be visible to you. whenever I do the, I will save the code, and it is happening because I have installed a plugin called live server, and it is helping me to show the live changes on the screen. So now we have displayed the flex, and then we have set the flex for a property to wrap. Now, as you have noticed, in our script.js, we have added one class called card. So let's do the styling of it. So dot card, let's add some border, 1 pixel, solid, hashtag. The code is CCC. Let's save it, and you can see we are getting some border. Now let's add some radius, border radius, which is around 8 pixel. Let me save it. So you are getting the, you are seeing the radius here on the corners of the card, as you can see here. Now let's add some shadow, box shadow, and set it to 0, 2 pixel, 4 pixel, and give the color RGBA. And as you can see, red, green, blue, and alpha property we have to set. So let's set it 0, 0, 0, 0.1. As you can see, some shadow is visible here. Now let's add some padding. If you don't know what is padding, I have already created a video called CSS box model explained on my YouTube channel. You can find it on the channel, and I will also leave the link on the top so you can access it from here. So 20 pixel is the padding. It is the internal space between the border and the content. So the space between the border and the content is our padding. So let me save, and you can see the space is increased. Now let's add the margin. Margin will be the difference of space between all the elements. So margin, I am setting it to 13 pixel, and when I save it, you can see there is some gap between each elements. Now after setting it, let's add some width. So it will be having the common width for all of them, width, and I am setting it to 250 pixel. Let's add the semicolon and save it. Now the size of all the width of all the card is same. After that, let's add some background color and set it to some gray color. So it is F9, 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 and save it. You can see a gray color is visible. Now let's set the H2 element, card H2, and let's set the font size property, which is 10 pixel. So it is reduced, but it's okay. Let's increase the font size to 18 pixel. Now it looks good. After that, we want the margin from top to be 0. After that, also set the properties for the p element dot card p, which is, and we want to set bottom margin. So now we are done with the styling, and as you can see, it looks good. Let me just copy the URL and show it in the full screen, so you will be able to see it. Where is my taking time? As you can see, we are seeing, and you are getting it. Let me just reduce the size of screen so you can see is responsive. Now let's add that tweet this button on that, on these cards. Let's go to the code. We are done with the styles.css. Now go to script.js, and here, before adding the card, we will need to add the href link. So we will create one more element, const a equals to document dot create element. Under that, we will give the a tag because it is used to create the links. Now let's set some properties. So again a const, and we need to set the link to document dot create text node, and we will give it the name text, not text, tweet is. Save it. After that, we will append the child, append child, and we will append it the link of that. Now let's set some property. A dot title is equals to, with this, the link is not visible on the screen because we haven't added the const a on our card. So let me just do that. So the changes will be visible to you. Append child and add a. Now you are seeing it. Let's work on that. Okay, so I am done with this. Let me add semicolons. Now after that, we will set the target and we will set it to blank because we want to open it into a new page. So blank. So target is set to blank. Now we want to float it to the right of our screen. So we are setting the float property because it will help us move that tweet this button onto the right of the screen. So it will be visible somewhere here. Float, and let's set it to right. You can see the changes are reflected. Now after that, we want the text decoration, and we want to set it to none because we don't want text decoration. After that, let's add the font size style dot font size, and here we are setting it to 1 rem. After that, now let's set the links, and I think we need to make it var final text equals to item dot text. Okay, and then a dot href equals to where we want it to point, https twitter.com, and here intent, I have already googled it, so you don't need to verify it that it will link to the correct value or not. Text equal plus final text. Save it. So you can see when I click on this, is getting here, and a house divided against itself cannot stand. So we are able to load it. Now let's try to add some more things like on the second, let me click on this, tweet this. So when it's load, you are seeing more codes and developed by. So we want to uh, share the link of social media channel. As you can see, my Twitter handle is visible here, so I need to do that. So for that, I will go to, and also we want to give a line break, so we will do that also. Here on tweet this plus use percentage 0a, and again percentage 0a, and after that, let's set it to developed by at the rate from Lashkan. Let's now click on the link and see if it is visible. So as you can see, now we are seeing developed by, and the code which you can see on the screen, let me go to it. This one is creating the line break between the actual tweet text and the developed by Shubham Lashkan. So it is used to create a line break between both of them. So here the line break is created on the top we are showing the motivational quote, and then we are showing developed by Shubham Lashkan. So I think we are done with the development. Let me just cross check if something is missing on that code. And also if we are getting some error, then we need to catch them. So catch error, and we will just scroll dot error, and as you can see we are not okay. I am writing it in the wrong place. We need to write it on the last. So if we get any error while fetching this response from the API, we will log it here. You can see. So I think we are done with the development. Let me just recap it what we have done. So first of all, we have created an index.html file using the exclamatory mark. After that, we have linked the style sheet along with the JavaScript, and also change the title to motivational quotes app. After that, we go to script.js. Here we try to fetch the data container which we have created here, and we are using the ID to fetch that specific block. As you can see, we are using get element by ID. After that, we are using fetch method and passing the URL of that API, and the fetch method always returns a promise that results into a response, and we are converting the response into response.json. We are using the then method to change that, and after that we are using another then method, and in this data we are getting the actual response into the JSON format, and after that we looped over the result of this API. So we are using for each loop, and we have created a element called item, which is a looping variable. So we can go to each and every uh, result of that response. So, and here we are checking if the author of any motivational quote is null. So if we are not getting the value of author, then we will not print that motivational quote on the screen. After that, we have created a card using the div tag, and we have added some class called, the name of the class is card. After that, we have created two more elements. One is h2, and the second is p tag, and we are appending it to the card. After that, we are also creating a anchor tag here, as you can see, and we are setting some properties, and also we are setting the tweet text using this variable var.final text, and after that we appended the anchor tag into the card, and after that we appended the card into the data container, and we have also done with the styling. So let me just test it if it is working or not. I'll just refresh it and click on tweet this button. I see you can observe a lot by just watching. Let me just click on some more random buttons to just verify it. So as you can see, it is working properly. That's it in this video. We will develop some more HTML, CSS, JavaScript project in the future video. For now, thank you very much, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter. That's it for now. Let's meet in some more videos.